Victor Wembanyama is considered the greatest NBA draft prospect of all time. His set of tools and upside, along with incredible size and coordination, have caused many to set expectations for him at a sky-high level. However, I'm going to present a different perspective. If you're expecting an otherworldly performance from Wembanyama as a rookie, you might be in for a disappointment. Now, let me be clear. I don't think he's going to be a bust by any means. And trust me, there are people out there right now that are going to try and make that case, and they're going to be wrong. And honestly, if someone says and honestly believes that he's just going to straight up be bad in the NBA, I'm just going to assume that they've never actually watched him play. However, even though I think he's going to be great, the expectation level, and more importantly, the misunderstanding of who Victor Wembanyama is going to be initially as an NBA player is getting out of control. But before we get carried away with our own expectations, let's consider the team that he's joining, the San Antonio Spurs. Let's not forget that the Spurs, as a franchise, as an organization, are the architects of the load management era. Do you ever get annoyed during the regular season when you get excited for a big primetime game and suddenly a star or two or three just aren't playing? Every time that happens, all of that goes back to the Spurs. They prioritize long-term success and player health above all else, and they always have under Popovich. And with a generational prospect like Wembanyama, that philosophy is even more important to them, especially in his rookie season. And even with the loftiest of expectations for this Spurs team next year, they're not going to be contenders. They might be a play-in team in a crowded Western Conference if some things go right, but what does that really do for them? Why not just be overly cautious with the future of the franchise? The rest of the West is going to be pretty loaded next year because there is no Victor Wembanyama for anybody to tank for, and 14, maybe all 15 teams are going to look at themselves kind of how the Spurs do right now as a possible play-in team. And at least for the first half of the year, there aren't going to be a ton of easy wins to come by in that conference. So why not just take things slow with the generational prospect that is Victor Wembanyama? And we're already seeing the effects of that mindset. The Spurs have already made adjustments to his schedule, with Wembanyama choosing not to represent his national team this summer, and Summer League is probably going to be more limited than usual as well, considering that Wembanyama's French season just finished right before the draft. This trend of load management will likely continue during his rookie season. Now, that isn't to say that we should be concerned about his durability, at least in my opinion, if last season is any indication. He played every possible game in France last season, but I certainly wouldn't expect the same in his rookie year in the NBA. They played less often in France than he will in the NBA, and the Spurs, more than any other team, are going to exercise caution. They know that his career can only truly go wrong if he suffers an injury, and will do everything they can to prevent that. My expectation for the maximum amount of games that Victor Wembanyama will play as a rookie is going to be right around 65 to make him eligible for the Rookie of the Year award, and exceeding 30 minutes per game honestly seems unlikely. The Spurs fully expect to be championship contenders eventually with Wembanyama around, and they can still develop him fully without putting too much on him too soon, especially considering his frame and body type, which of course means his stats are going to be lower than expected. Some people have thrown around crazy numbers, and I really think that they're setting the bar too high. Even 20 points per game feels too high to me. The blocks and the rebounds, those are likely going to be there, but the Spurs are not going to over-prioritize him in this offense. They have other young guys that they still want to develop, and they've always been an equal opportunity offense at their best. Tons of isolations or mid-post touches really just feels unlikely to me. He's going to be setting a lot of screens on and off the ball, and he's going to have to figure out how he fits into the Spurs system. Now, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of this video has been negative, but I really think Wemby is going to be awesome. Just by being out there, his incredible length is going to be so impactful. He can protect the rim and stays with perimeter players decently well because he can just make up so much ground with his length. His ability to play as a 5 as a rim protector while also playing alongside a traditional big defensively is a really great skill, and of course offensively he has so many skills for a guy his size. That versatility in terms of lineup construction, incredible length to play any forward position, while also being able to space the floor offensively is an unbelievably valuable combination. The closest that we really have in the league at the moment would be Kristaps Porzingis, I guess, who's a good to great rim protector, whereas the other premier offensive bigs and spacers in the league like Karl Anthony Towns and Jokic just aren't on that level. However, I do have to temper expectations one more time here. The offensive skill that Wemby has at his size is insane, and his fluidity and his body control at that size is arguably even more impressive. But I do think people are overrating him just a bit in terms of his scoring ability at the NBA level right away. There are a ton of crazy highlights of him hitting step back threes and pull-ups and getting to the rim, but he still has a ways to go in terms of skill development. He still will get pushed off of his spot, especially on drives, and isn't quite as amazing as an individual offensive player as some seem to think, and he probably won't be all that efficient initially until he figures it out. He will be very good, but his impact as a rookie, in my opinion, is going to be felt way more on the defensive end of the floor. And people just aren't going to be as excited about that. Having said that, I do think that the floor spacing stuff will translate. There are some people out there that have looked at the three-point shooting numbers and assumed that he's overrated as a shooter, and I really don't think that's the case. Everything about his shot, and more importantly his free throws, look great to me. I just think the percentages dipped because he wanted to go out there and try stuff, try the step backs and 1-foot jumpers, and that entire team was basically created to help Wemby prepare for the NBA, and as a result, he got a lot of offensive creative freedom there. And that simply won't be as much of a thing in San Antonio, which in the long run will be a good thing, especially for his offensive efficiency. But in San Antonio, they're going to tighten up a lot of that stuff initially. He's going to be expected to defend with effort, rebound, work within the offense, and take good shots, all of which are really good things for his career in the long run, but might cause his rookie year to fall below the lofty expectations that some have set for him, at least offensively. As I said earlier, I think he's going to be an amazing team defender right away just because of his length, and then he's going to develop his offensive impact a little bit more slowly. Again, that's good for his career in the long run, but people won't care as much about his defense unless it's some kind of crazy block highlight that only he can make happen. And again, this entire video is about expectations. Apart from LeBron, there's never really been a rookie with this much put on his shoulders as soon as he enters the NBA. If Wemby has one bad shooting game to start the year, or plays 20 minutes one night, or gets bodied in the post by a bigger defender, or gets dunked on, people will clown him. The expectations are so crazy out of control that he can't help but fall a little bit short of them. And I'm telling you right now, don't worry about it. He's still going to be incredibly impactful defensively. He's still going to be very useful offensively. And in the long term, that's going to lead to winning for the Spurs. They know how to turn superstars into winning stars, and that will be their plan with Wemby as well. He likely won't be an all-star as a rookie. Heck, he might not even win Rookie of the Year depending on his stats. But quite honestly, a slightly disappointing rookie season by most people's standards probably won't be all that bad of a thing for him, and will likely still be one of the best and most impactful rookie seasons in the history of the league. So no, this isn't a video saying that Victor Wembanyama is going to be a bust. I'm not saying that he's going to be bad. I just think that maybe we should lower our expectations, but of course we're not, because the hype train has already gotten so out of control to this point where everybody expects all-star level numbers, and if he falls short of that, everybody's going to be upset. He's not going to be a bust, but he's also probably not going to be an all-star initially, and that's okay. Let's just enjoy this incredible talent that has come to the league. Let's watch him grow and develop, and let's appreciate the fact that he is in a fantastic situation in San Antonio. And who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Wemby's going to be an all-star putting up 25 a game as a rookie. I doubt it, but it's really difficult to doubt the talent level of, as I said in the intro, the greatest NBA draft prospect of all time.